everybody likes a little TNA. She crawled into the bed and put fucking pillows up underneath of her and was like, get after it. And I'm like, okay. I'm Jason Roach. I say, that woman's got some large breasts.
I am Sam Hall.
That sumbitch threw me down and fisted me.
Does fat bottom girls apply? Or perhaps skinny Vietnamese boys? Pray tell. And we are the hosts of the TNA podcast. Fornicate, marry, or wouldn't piss in their mouth if their teeth were on fire.
Download the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music.
Also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
This is Van from Nite, and you're listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast.
Chris?
Thank you for having me.
Just so you know, this is the first time I haven't had to remind Bruce to start recording.
I don't know if that's true, but
They haven't.
I don't think that's true. But
Go ahead, Bruce.
I said I don't think that's true at all. I think you're making that shit up.
Most likely.
Anyway, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. Where are you at? You're out in the West Coast, like San Francisco area?
Yeah, I'm in San Francisco. Yeah.
What's it like out there
in
these
my
days?
home, anyway. In my. I'm pretty sure the same as everywhere. It's pretty crazy, but we're just trying to go through life. We still have to go to work. We still have to do the groceries and everything. Like life goes on. But it's been kind of weird lately. I mean, many shows have been canceled. We did reopen briefly after like September or so. It was pretty open. We did have some shows. We did play a few shows, but then I don't know, like close to after December 1st or something, everything closed down again. So let's see how that plays out. But
Is that a government closure, or is that like kind of like involuntary closure?
no, I think it's just that people are. I mean, it's either that there are not so many people going to do shows, or just staff getting sick. It's not that is mandated or anything, but it's mostly people like not wanting to put others in harm's way, and also not have a show that has five people in the audience. So
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just for me, I think you got to be careful around these times. It's pretty crazy. I ended up in the ER the other night. Not me personally, but my wife was there. And after seeing what was going on in there ain't no way in hell I'd be going to a show right now. No offense.
Yeah.
It was scary as shit.
What you said,
To be
that's
honest.
crazy.
It's
Anyway.
nuts, man. Like, sorry, go ahead.
Oh,
Bruce.
no, go ahead. Keep talking.
Well, I was just going to say, it was just like a line of people showing up constantly saying, I can't breathe. Everyone from like babies to seniors. I was just like, holy fucking, the sound of the coughing coming down the hallway. I've never heard anything like that. I'm still haunted by it.
Really?
It sounded like some people were coughing. It sounded like people were coughing, but they weren't coughing because they had to cough. Their body was spasming to get air. That's what it sounded like. And it was just echoing down the hall, dude. It was like the most fucked up thing. I was just like, holy fuck, we got to get out of here.
Could you imagine being a healthcare worker having to deal with
Pardon
that
my
every
language.
day? No.
No, I can't. So anyways, well, I'm taking this off topic, but
Anyway, let's talk about Nite since that's why we're
Sorry.
here. Sorry, we get kind of sidetracked pretty quickly.
let's do it.
I guess let's first, how did the deal with Season of Mist come about?
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, initially we talked with Michael, the main guy, right? The owner. A long time ago, in 2018 or so. I mean, we kind of know each other for many years because I was in many different bands through the years. So we have crossed paths before. I have also produced music for his label in the past. But anyway, at the time back then, it wasn't the right time for us to join Season of Mist. Back then, we didn't have anything. We didn't have any album out. And we did have a really good first album and a pretty solid reception and everything. And then Michael, out of nowhere, kind of, he contacted us again last year in January, and pretty much told us that he wants to try it out, this time. So for me, season was like the best possible scenario for us from the beginning. Like I don't think we were. I mean, of course, it would be very hard to say no to something like that, but like. Someone like Century Media or like Metal Blade, or it would be very dangerous for us to like go on and do a debut there. And we did talk to them, but they were not. I mean, I'm sure that the bigger labels don't really take a chance in like very like new bands nowadays. It's very rare that they're gonna take you from like 0 to 1,000 followers. Like it doesn't make any sense for them to use their resources to do something like that. So yeah, I mean, Michael liked what we're doing, and yeah, I think he gets what we're trying to do, and that's how that worked out anyway.
I've chatted with Michael.
Is it kind of an honor to be on a label like Season of the Mist? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Go for it.
Oh, it's just what I just said. Is it an honor to be on a label like Season of Mist?
Of course. I mean, Season of Mist is an institution. I mean, it's to me, especially like how we have positioned ourselves and how where we feel at home. We are an underground band. We're not. We are, of course, we are craving to make our show bigger and be able to play on a bigger stage and have a bigger production and stuff, but. We're not like exactly pop metal here. Like we're not. So, yeah, to me that of course there's all these artists that Season has put forward through the years that have shaped the genre. Like it's of course it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Bruce. I didn't mean to.
No. That's fine. I was gonna say I've chatted with Michael before, and we've chatted with a ton of Season of Mist artists, and I feel like. He kind of, my opinion is, he gives you your kind of reign to do your individual creative thing, and then really gets behind you. Is that pretty much how it runs?
Yeah. He's definitely. I mean, I have worked with many labels because I'm also a producer and an engineer. So that's what I do for the last 25 years. So, and I have seen all the different shades of. With gray, I guess, like all the different types of approaches here, and yeah, I mean, I really love that. When I'm saying that he's standing behind us, he's asking us to do exactly what we want to do, and not play it safe. Like don't worry about fitting in anywhere. Do exactly what we set out to do, and hopefully we're gonna get this in front of the people who are gonna like it anyway, or this is gonna find an audience that is gonna support us moving forward.
Right.
It sounds like a dream, really. For a musician.
Well, that doesn't feel like one to be honest with you. There is a lot of responsibility that comes with that. I don't want to sound like it sounds corny, but it is. But I mean. Yeah. Having a budget, but having a long list of things that we need to do, and we need to do them right, is not the most fun thing. Like I kind of miss like not having any budget and just going about like asking our friends to do photos and everything. Like it is a little bit more. It is more serious, And also it is very heavy thinking like, okay, this is our shot. What do we do with it? Right. It's yeah.
Suddenly
It's great, of course. But
suddenly it's not a dream anymore, it's a reality. And when reality kicks in, sometimes the dream ends, right? But not,
Yeah.
I don't mean ends, but like
Becomes real.
when you sign a record deal, sometimes when you sign a record deal, you think, oh man, when we get a record deal, things are going to be so much better. And then you get a record deal and you realize, holy shit, the work is actually just starting. Like everything I've done up till now was just part-time, but now I have to go. It's full-time. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to keep this. I mean, for us, there's no point in us like freaking out right now and becoming stiff and not bringing this like this like loose energy that we have. Like we need to keep writing songs that don't fit into in a box, and we need to keep it fresh and keep it fun. Like keeping it fun is the most important thing, I think, when doing music. Like you have to be having fun. So.
Oh yeah.
When all these like pressures keep showing up from, meeting deadlines and preparing assets and all that stuff, like we have to stay focused at keeping it fun, keep making music that we love playing every night, and yeah.
I have a question. What guitar do you have sitting beside you there?
This
That one. Yeah.
This one is a Jackson Kelly. Is a Japanese. Is a pretty cheap Japanese Kelly. Like it's like the.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was made popular by Marty Friedman, none other than the great Marty Friedman.
Yeah, absolutely. That's killer.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm such a geek. I have to ask. I'm a recording engineer, so I always ask about gear, like nonstop. Like I'm looking at your speakers back there, and I'm like, "What are those? I want to know."
These are Dyne Audio Lead LYD48.
Yeah, those have like they're like 3-ways, right? Those speakers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fuck, those are nice speakers. Did you? Now here's a weird question: did you burn them in, or did you just start using them?
I did burn them in. Yeah, I mean, I live in an apartment building, and to be honest with you, like my favorite speakers are BM15s.
Yeah,
but I cannot use them here. I'm gonna get evicted. So these are kind of tiny for my. I mean, I was using like BM15s for I don't know 15 years or something.
Yeah.
But these are okay. They're okay. I'm not super excited about them. they're fine. Yeah.
Man, I've been mixing on a set of KRK V6 Series 2 for like over 20 years. So I'm just too scared to change. I could change, but I'm too scared to change. I'm like, fuck, what do I do?
As long as it sounds the same in other places, you're fine, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, Bruce, go ahead.
No, that's fine. I'm just chatting away. But so you said you're a producer engineer. Did you produce and engineer Voices of the Kronian Moon, which I guess is due out in March, right?
Yes.
You were hands on the whole way.
Yes, it's coming out on March 25th. Yeah. I did. Yes. I did both albums, the first one and this one, and of course. I mean, I produced it with a band, as I always do with every band that I work with. I can't take full credit for it, I did all the engineering, recording, and all that stuff.
Sweet, and I watched the video.
Were you guys really heavily? Oh, sorry, Bruce. You're just kind of freezing, so I'm jumping in on you.
Yeah, no worries. Go ahead.
Okay. Did you guys do this recording predominantly with virtual instruments and amp simulators, or was it live instrumentation?
You mean if we used amps, right? Because I mean, it definitely wasn't live. We overdubbed. We started with guide tracks, and then we did drums, and then we overdubbed everything else.
That's what I mean. But were you using like drum virtual instruments and amp simulators, or were you using like real drums in a studio with guitars and a bass, amps, like real amps?
This one is real drums, of course. They're not triggered though. So like the only trigger there is like an extra sub on the kick drum, but
cool.
that's it. But the kick drum is actually the actual kick drum.
Cool.
And I mean, guitars on this one are Helix. Like I'm using
cool.
I'm
Yeah.
using the native plugin, the Helix plugin.
Yeah.
And I did some amp leads here and there, but they're not on all tracks. Yeah, and also bass is Helix.
It's so much more convenient working that way. And I think like maybe even 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you couldn't get the same quality, but now it seems almost ridiculous for me to set up an amp a lot of the time. I'm like, why would I do that? Because it's going to take me forever and I'm going to have something close enough anyways in the production. And we can keep the guitar player happy because they can just turn on, have the sound they want, and be creative from the time they come in till the time they leave.
Yeah, it's a long debate. To be honest with you, I'm definitely in the virtual camp because I've been doing this for I've been in that camp for many years, mostly due to monetary reasons that I couldn't afford having all the gear that I wanted to have, and so that's one thing. These days, I mean, I do have a stack in the studio that we practice, and I could have just go in there with my laptop and did that. What I really love doing, I don't know, maybe this is a little bit too like technical for the podcast, but
no. If there's one thing metal people love, is gear talk, and I'm dead serious about it.
So one thing that was really cool for this album. It might be a little far out, but here goes anyway. So what I had when I was like at the final stage of like mixdown, basically, I had done all this like processing on the guitars, like on the main guitars, right? I had like all this EQ going on and all this like compression and whatnot, but mostly EQ. Like I had to fit them in with the overheads. And I just at some point I took out all the EQ that I had done, and I started moving the virtual microphones and like changing microphones to make the guitars sound the same with EQ, but just by choosing microphones. And
cool.
that was just so cool because I would never be able to do that, with a real amplifier and stuff. So yeah, of course, I mean there are like monsters out there that have amazing rooms, amazing microphones, amazing preamps, amazing everything. Yeah, of course, this sounds definitely better. But yeah, I mean,
like I don't know Andy Sneap personally, but I've read interviews where he has like amps just stacked, and they're all on a switch that he can run to pre-mic cabinets whenever he wants. I mean, if I could do that, you better believe I'd be fucking doing that. But like,
same here. Yeah.
But like, it's not a real option for me,
Yeah. Same here. For me, I'm trying to balance the time I spend doing production and doing engineering work into doing songwriting work. Because to me, like, if the song sucks, no matter how many amps I have on a like reamp switch, it's not gonna help it. So save it. So yeah, to me, like the song comes first, and I'm trying to put on the medium anyway, the MP3 or whatnot, the best possible thing that I can at that given time.
Cool. So you said you're in the Bay Area, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's it like being in the birthplace of thrash?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's unreal. Like, I was born in Greece, in Athens, Greece. Like, I grew up there in the 80s and 90s, and I really don't know how I ended up here, how that thing happened, but it did happen. And to me, that there are certain things that, I mean, of course, I'm a huge Metallica fan. Like, like I'm not gonna lie that I love them. And there are also other things, like I'm a huge Marty Friedman fan and Jason Becker fan, and like all this, I know all the stories that they were like when they first met, they were practicing on at this like rooftop of Marty's flat that is like a few blocks from where I live, and I cannot really comprehend that, like, or when I was living in LA, I was living in like Studio City, and I was literally driving in front of Van Halen's place to go to work. That is also something for my little Greek boy's mind, is like something that I cannot really process fully,
That's cool. Yeah. Now, is there still a metal scene in the Bay Area, or was it just that one moment in time?
No, I think this. I mean, I'm sure you guys know how. I mean, what a great scene this area has. I mean, we're a very small group of people. Like we all know each other, kinda.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's fantastic. Like all the people in the scene are just, I don't know. Like it's. Did you guys lose me?
Yeah, you cut out. Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
Yeah, I was saying that like it's a small scene, but it's such a warm family thing. Like we all know each other. We do play a lot of shows with the same people, you know. And yeah, it is pretty strong. Like it's definitely present, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, there are like legends, you know, in the area.
Oh yeah, I just find it interesting because metal is so like obviously I don't think this way and Bruce doesn't think this way, but from an outsider's perspective, metal has like this like real rebellious and angry and hateful kind of image. And San Francisco is like the city of love, you know, and I always found it interesting that thrash came from there and that there's still a thriving metal scene there. You know, it's like all these hippies want metal. It's great.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe okay. To me, yeah. Go ahead.
No. Finish what you're saying, and then I'll go.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, like heavy metal is not really fixated on the hate and anger thing. To me, it's kind of like where I see the essence of heavy metal is thinking outside the box, kinda, and not being boxed into anything. So you can totally see it around the city. There's this like free spirit thing going on here. I mean, of course, there's a lot of and workers, like people working in tech or like trying to, make a living and stuff. But there's all these kids that are coming out that do like crazy shit all the time, and all these like the skateboarding scene here is crazy, So yeah. It's pretty wild and pretty nice, yeah, very nice.
That's what I mean. Like Bruce and I don't think that way, but like, when we hear about San Francisco in the media or somewhere else, it's like this crazy liberal city full of hippies, and it's just like. But really, when I think of it, I think of thrash metal. I think of heavy metal.
Exodus,
that's the first thing that comes to my brain.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead, Bruce.
No, I just want to bring it back to the band for a second. So, Kronian Moon, the single, is out. It's heavy as hell. What has been the response to it so far, and do we expect the rest of the record to be similar?
The response has been pretty strong. I mean, I can't really judge very well because we're also getting all this exposure from the Season of Mist audience. So where we're coming from an underground Bay Area label, and for us it's been crazy. Like we had like more exposure in the last 2-3 weeks than we had in a couple of years. Before. So yeah, I think that people like the song. It's like it's very hard for me to say if it's if the rest of the sound of the album sounds the same. To me, of course, it does, but maybe to you guys it will not sound the same. But there is definitely the essence of the album is like a unified thing. Like it is a concept album in a way. It's all the songs are about one specific story thing that we came up with, and we're just evolving that story through these eight songs. It's definitely one of the more upbeat songs, like one of the more happy songs or something. There's a new one that is coming out in a couple of days, which is the album opener, which is definitely, I wouldn't call it happy, but it's definitely uplifting and stuff. There are darker moments in the album, as in every movie or play. I don't know. Like there are chapters in this book that are very dark and stuff. But yeah, we try to keep it interesting, and like every song is playing a role and has a different mood. So
Okay. We were talking about metal not being so hate-filled and angry and whatever. Do you find writing some of this music is like cathartic, getting this shit out there, especially the darker stuff that you're talking about?
I mean, yeah, making music as a whole is a very cathartic process. Like that's how I personally process the world and my life and the things that I go through. That's how I process, both the good and the bad. And I know that that's what the rest of the guys feel too. Like that's how we go about things. And yeah, it's not easy, it's not easy to go to, it's like kind of like a prolonged therapy session, like talking about we tend to talk about the things that have like scarred us, or we have trauma about, or we are worried about, or we're craving for. About, yeah, it's I think that's the role of mythology, like through the eons. Like that's why people like going to ancient Greek plays. They like to process what is happening in their everyday life through some hero tale, or I don't know, through some tragedy or drama or whatever.
I have to ask: Have you ever read Joseph Campbell?
Oh, okay, that's a very delicate question. My father-in-law is Joseph Campbell. So I thought you said James Joyce. Yeah, yeah, of course, Joseph Campbell. Yeah, I have. Yeah, I thought you said James Joyce, and I was like, I have tried to read James Joyce, but I can't. I'm not that smart, I think. But yeah, Joseph Campbell. Yeah, and also Carl Jung have been huge on me. Like I discovered Carl Jung like when I was discovered. I just stumbled upon a book when I was like 19, and I didn't understand anything at the time. And then I keep coming back. Like 25 years later or so. Yeah, it's been a huge influence on me.
Yeah, just the way you were talking right there, I was like, this guy sounds like he has read a lot of Joseph Campbell. That's exactly what I thought. I was like, yeah. So the power of myth, it's like, how do we make sense of our world? How do we make sense of our history? How do we make sense of what's happening? And we can look to myth to kind of get us through those things.
Yeah, without wanting to sound shallow and stuff, like my exposure to that world was through Star Wars. Like I was trying to understand why Star Wars was like such. I saw Jedi when it came out, like in the 80s, and I was like my head exploded, like. So yeah, me trying to understand why these things affect me so much is what drove me down that path of trying to understand why these archetypes have like this power over us. And yeah, and to this day, like all the bands that I've done and all the songs that I have written are like, it is like I can show you like one tarot card that is exactly what this song is about, or one Greek tragedy, or one, I don't know, like one. I don't know. Like mythology appears in many different forms, through the around the planet.
So here's a question then. Growing up in Greece, you're obviously surrounded by history that people in America don't really understand. I certainly don't understand it. How has that influenced you when you come to America and you have like this kind of deep understanding of the history that you grew up around and surrounded by it everywhere, and then you go to a place like San Francisco, whose history, doesn't go back that far, relatively speaking?
Yeah. Well, look, of course, I don't know. Like, there are pros and cons of me growing up there. I'm going to start with the cons. The cons are that I'm not there, right? I'm an immigrant for the last like 25 years, because what I want to do was not available there.
Yes.
Or so I want, like, to be honest with you, I don't really lament about on that stuff. Like, I mean, I appreciate that I'm here. I appreciate that I have lived in like Germany, in England, in California. And we're not like, I love that I managed to do that. On the other hand, it is tough. Like, I'm considered an immigrant for the last 25 years, and my Greek family is pissed off that I'm not there with them, and, so a very common thing that happens to immigrants is that for Americans, I am a Greek, and for Greeks, I am an American. So I'm like caught in limbo, kind of. So that's one thing that is taking a lot of my energy through the last years, anyway. The other thing is that I have, like, I definitely have this like deeper understanding of our human history and how things came to be and all that. And one very simple but very essential thing is that Greek is an older language, and there are very simple things that I understand about easier about certain words. Like I don't know, I can maybe think something out of the thin air, but like there are all these like English words that I can totally get where they're coming from, because they use like these like syllables in there that comes from a different word that I know what it is, and I know what it, like even like pentagram, like penta means 5, and it has like 5 corners, you know what I mean? So all these little hints anyway, and it's really cool, like to like even things like especially when you're looking at things like philosophy and like occult thaumatology and all that stuff. This is like ridiculous. Like this, like right there, like the names of things are their meaning and why they are there. Like Lucifer means like the light bringer, right? But it's in the name. Although Lucifer is the Latin word, but it has been very helpful on that part of it. but it's not an easy life to live, to be an immigrant.
I understand. I mean, my transition wasn't as hard, I'm sure, because I came from Canada into the US, but it was still a complete like, holy fuck. Like, what the hell is happening here? I don't understand anything. And like, I could communicate with people, but I didn't understand the systems. I didn't understand anything. And it's a shell shock, really. And Canada has no history. It's like Canada is like what, 160 years old or something. Right. So I think when you come from like a place like Greece that has such a diverse and long ass motherfucking history, it's got to change your interpretation of where you are, because you almost learn from osmosis, I would imagine, growing up.
Yeah, but it might be a little controversial to what I'm going to say, but to be honest with you, like I don't think like the Greek history is not your history. It's the same history. We're all human beings, right? It doesn't matter that. So to me, like I was born in 1979 in Athens, Greece, but like we're both humans living close to the third millennium, to the beginning of the third millennium. Like some of us were like geographically born there, but like this is our culture. Like this is a collective human culture. You know what I mean? So,
in the words of Sammy Hagar, we're just humans being.
Exactly.
Hey, we are running up against our time here. We've got like 4 minutes left in the Zoom.
Right.
Okay.
Do you have anything else that we missed? Chris, you want to get any last thing in?
No, I mean, I haven't taken up the whole damn conversation. I apologize.
That's okay.
The thing we like about this podcast is that we don't bring you on to talk about like how you came up with your band name or how what's the song about. We come on to give people access to the artist so that they can get to know the artist in a more personal way, which is why every episode's a casual conversation with.
And we don't know where we're going to end up.
I hope you don't. Yeah, we never know. Like, we do research, but we never know where it's going to go. And I hope you don't mind that, because I've really enjoyed having you on, and we'd love to have you back as you do more promotional material. That was awesome.
Great. Yeah, no, it was really fun. And I mean, the things that yeah, I think the things that came out were very representative of who I am and what we are about. So
Cool.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you taking the time.
you got it.
Yeah.
Thank you for
It's,
coming.
and I've had
Yeah,
a really
bye-bye.
weird connection, so I apologize for that as well. But have a good day. Thank you. Good luck
No
with the
problem.
record.
You do.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye bye.